Of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. And we start off this day with a lot of movement in the S&Ps, not a lot of movement in the volume. We're printing off 1.86 billion shares compared to the 2.3 billion shares that we started off at about this time. Maybe 2.2, I can't remember exactly. 22.82. Volume basically stopped at about 1.65 billion shares. We've been going up about 5 S&P points on 200 million pretty much since noon. That volume just kind of died off, and it's just kind of like one tick higher, one tick higher, and one tick higher. And that's kind of been it. You got it kind of a very interesting market setting up here, and that is a reversal of the reversal of the reversal of the reversal. The question is, and has been, why you get absolutely no volume once you get about 2108. They can push the market up. They can't get the horse to drink. And, you know, if we end up with another day of about 2.8, 2.9 billion shares at the end of the day, compared to 3.5, 3.8, 4.2 billion shares on the big down days, my guess is maybe they can hold it up here for a long time, but it's going to take a lot more to get the proverbial horse to drink. And we do digress. Of course, there's nothing more important today than the dollar index. We're printing off at 97.31 on the continuous contract. It's basically flat on the day. But no reversal in that dollar index. Mostly what we see today is a lot of speculation that after yesterday, when there was no deal in Greece, that, we're going to have a deal now. And I think that that's probably somewhat wishful thinking. I don't see how they're going to be able to get a deal through, but weirder things have happened. Of course, the code words are pretend and extend. That is, we'll continue ignoring it, and maybe it'll go away. And that's what we continue to do. But today, some rather dubious news, at least is what's being reported for the rally back today after the rally down yesterday. One thing we have today, though, that we don't have yesterday, light volume. And that was it. Well, I think we ended up with about 3.3, I think, 3.4 billion shares. We had some earnings out there, one notably higher, a lot notably lower, and we'll get into those. But you can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648. And we'll try get you on as soon as possible. In the meantime,
that it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Today in 1933, President Franklin Roosevelt signs into law the Securities Act of 1933, requiring all issuers of stocks and bonds to publish a prospectus disclosing risk, conflicts of interest, and ownership positions. Says Roosevelt, the act is intended to correct some of the evils, which have been so glaringly revealed in the private exploitation of the public's money. With the public crying for revenge on Wall Street after the crash of 1929, the bill had passed the House of Representatives without any debate or recorded vote. The Senate had debated on it for only 2 hours. And what really drove this law was when, after 1929, we found out, I think it was the RCA guy, I think it was the CEO of RCA at the time, the guy that was running the show, had borrowed $10 million from his own company to short his own stock right at the height of the well, I think starting about September of 1929, and it's kind of we hear shades of this over and over again, but just the idea that you wouldn't even know whether or not your CEO was interested in your stock price going higher seems rather almost ludicrous and silly today. But you never knew what was going on. It was a pit of vipers, as they used to call it, of people screwing each other over, including the CEOs, knowing their stock was going to go down, manipulating the news, and there was little, if any, laws to actually go after that. And probably kind of equivalent with what's going on in China right now. Not a lot of laws. You can make your books do anything you want, and that's pretty much it. But on this day in 1933, we have that. Now, the only other thing that I found interesting today, and I guess we'll get into it. Well, we can get into it right now, was this whole deal with the FIFA, which runs the soccer game. And, of course, in the rest of the world, football is the big sport. Kind of really interesting. I saw this when it came out, and I was reading the complaint from the government against, I think it was 14 people. And it's kind of funny because if you read some of the adjunct things, it gets into how they paid off the former President Clinton, and how he was lobbying to get the World Cup games in Georgia, and he got mad and broke a mirror. But it's talk about everybody getting in and throwing cash around and trying to get, basically the, what would you call it? I don't even know what to call it. The ability to have these in your hometown and highlight your country. But even into the part where Qatar was wanting to have their games, and the games are in the summer, and Brazil's warm enough. They have them in Brazil. They have them in a lot of countries. But they have them at the time when just about everybody would. Well, it's 120 degrees in Qatar when everybody else is playing, or when these things were going to be. So they were even trying to bribe them in moving the games into the middle of winter. It's almost incredibly nuts. But talk about not having and disclosing your conflicts of interest. These guys everywhere were throwing around cash and money and trying to do everything from enlist people like former presidents to huge payoff contracts and consulting contracts for the former president. It's amazing just how convoluted the world has become, and how many ways that you can, and how many ways graft works its way into it. Of course, if you haven't heard, basically, there's been payoffs for over 20 years for the governing body for soccer. And just kind of interesting the fact that there's just about nobody that is untouched over in Europe, and just how long this went on and how much money was thrown around to get the games coming in. I've never thought much of soccer. I thought it was kind of interesting to play, rather boring to watch. And I don't know what else you can say about that other than, for some reason, moms think that soccer is a great game to play. I think it's rather boring. But, they think that football is dangerous. I always bring up that singer that's blind. I'm trying to remember his name. Anyway, he got it playing soccer. I always bring that up. Somehow soccer moms never like that. But I digress. Anyway, we're looking at a market up here. Be very interesting to see how this volume comes in. 21.38 is the last tick that I see, up 17 points on the S&P cash. 1.9, just ticked over 1.9 billion shares. So we'll be very interested to see how this end of day comes in. But Doesn't seem, the old saying is you can run it up the flagpole and see who salutes in Poughkeepsie. And not a lot of people saluting today. In the meantime, like I said, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com, and you can also post a message in the den, although it's very, very quiet. In fact, I can almost hear the crickets cricketing, and I'll have to get that sound effect. Anyway, a lot of people discussing it on CNBC, Bloomberg, and Fox Business News. I tuned across them around the noon hour. And a lot of people saying the same thing. Just nobody's come back from their week-long vacations in the Hamptons. A lot of the big shots nowhere to be found. And maybe that's a big cause for the incredibly light volume and choppy trading that we are having. But I think today is the idea is that Greece is not going to be a problem. They're just going to continue to throw a huge amount of cash at the issue, and that is going to be it. Yeah, they're just going to throw money at it.
Are you suggesting we throw money at the problem?
Precisely.
And other than that, I don't know what else to say. Anyway, that was today in 1933. Some interesting news out here that I think could affect Boeing. I thought this was one of the stocks that would probably, at least in building their airplanes, can't really be touched, won't be touched for years. Maybe the weak link in Boeing is their space ventures. The Falcon 9 rocket of Elon Musk's SpaceX won the U.S. Air Force certification for national security space missions, breaking the hold on sensitive satellite launches by Boeing, Lockheed, and most of the other usual suspects. What I thought was most interesting about this is of the three ventures that he has going, this one actually has the best chance of long-term success. The other ones have major gapping holes in their business models. But it's going to be another year before they get the heavy left rocket certified, and it'll cost them another $50 million to do so. But they've done a lot of things right. And I probably, if you went back 15 years, even 20 years on how we used to build cars, and now everything is tested by lasers and every joint is figured out and everything's down to thousandth of a millimeter in tolerance. The engines last 300,000 miles in a Toyota, and the cars maybe last 250,000 miles. I see a lot of heaps that the engines seem to be going really well. Nothing else does. The paint seems to last about 180,000 miles. But I do digress. Anyway, probably the best part, and this company, I've always thought it was going to go public maybe this year. Maybe it looks like next year now. They'll wait until they get the heavy lift rocket to go public. But doing everything right in this one, a lot of gaping holes in the other two businesses. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. I guess this is a short segment. Look at a couple companies that are moving out here today on earnings news. First one is Tiffany's to the upside 12%. And this one was very interesting. Looks like a lot of people came back in when the dollar moved back down and started buying a lot of things from foreign nations when we dipped back down on the dollar index to about 93. And they said it was all kind of very late in the quarter. Mostly when that dollar index came off 100, a lot of people came in to start buying things from Tiffany. I'm wondering how this is going to continue to be an issue, but basically a lot of people short and a nice surprise back in here. The volume that you really were looking for today in Tiffany's to go back and fill this gap was 10 million shares. We're basically into that with about half, with about 5 million shares so far. So watch how the volume comes back in to fill this gap fairly soon. There's some other stocks out here with dubious news, JNPR, some more phony discussions about Juniper being bought out by Ericsson, and a lot of other M&A rumors that, of course, were probably generated by people that wanted either to get out of the stock and wanted to create a market or wanted to create a short squeeze in it. Juniper is that one today. This one looked kind of a little weak on the open, and they juiced it by about 10 o'clock with what I am assuming a phony rumor. When we look a little bit farther out here, this thing's been going up anyway. Well, they were trying to get this thing back up to the January 24th high, which is $28.78, and that needs 38 million shares, and we got about 8 today. So that tells you everything. Of course, the disaster du jour today, and many people, at least on CNBC, were in this one, was Michael Kors. This thing had a super huge gap out here, and it's coming back to fill it today. That gap actually came up on huge volume of 18.5 million shares back on July 14th of 2012. This thing gapped up. So we're going back 2 years now on this thing. Of course, 56 million shares today. This is the tale of pretty much the IPO cycle, with the exception of a very few over the last few years. And that is, these things came to market with huge growth opportunities. They were fad stocks. This thing made a fairly interesting tried to make a double top up here around $100. Never really gave a clear signal. Would have loved to seen that thing test to 101.04 up here at the top before it came back down. Energy has never really dropped out of the stock on the way back down. Energy was good on the way up. You know, it's nothing. But something drastically changed out here. And for the most part, it was that this thing was a fad in fashion. And once you're out, a lot of discussions about them opening too many stores, raising the cost too much. But more than anything, you know, you were out for Coach. They killed Coach. And then, of course, another fad comes along and moves them out too. You know, off 23% today. Disaster du jour. Other stocks out here, moving out here. Coach off 4%. Take a quick look at that guy. COH. But this one been waiting to come back out and test its previous low back here from November 5th, 2014 at $32.72. So we're $1.28 above that from the low today. Some decent volume out here, but it's coming back to say hello to my little friends. Well, I'm going to get that one. I got to write it down. Hello to my little friend. And that little friend is the November 5th low in 2014 at $32.72. And that's it. And we're looking back out there. Other stocks of interest out here, Las Vegas Sands. Some of these stocks look like they may be making or trying to make at least some kind of low out here. These gambling stocks from Asia have been fairly weak for a while. So that is problematic. The December 17th low of 2014, $49.82 in LVS. 18 million shares. Got into that yesterday with 8 million shares. Got a little bounce out here. But again, the one thing that is lacking today is that volume. We're at 21.22. We still don't have 2 billion shares on the day today. And that's it. Question, how do I like Windows 10 so far? We'll talk about that when I come back. But I'm saying I love it. I've got 3 machines on it loaded now, and just with the pre-release seems to be working good to me. We'll talk more about that when we come back.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're like me, you see the world's emerging nations as a very real opportunity, as these countries and their economies are developing right before our eyes. And you can rest assured that Everbank has spotted this opportunity too. In fact, they've just released the second running of their 5-year Market Safe Futures Economy CD. This is a CD that could really deliver, but you only have until June 11th to take advantage. Consider the facts. If the future economy's currencies beat the US dollar over the CD term, you'll get all of the upside at maturity. And should they lose, no worries. There's zero downside risk here, as you get back 100% of your deposited principal. Don't miss out. The June 11th funding deadline is quickly approaching. So hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN-CD for more information, including important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN-CD. Everbank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we come back, and we're still up 18 points on the S&P cash. Just ticked over 2 billion shares, so volume is at a crawl. Dollar index has remained steady at 97.40. And, you know, what can you say? Gold off just a hair. Silver off about 0.4%. About the same on copper. So we continue to see weakness in the commodity sector and not any real weakness today, even though the market's heading up in the dollar index. Before we went, had a question in the den, which is how do I like Windows 10 so far? I've got to say I really like it. I like the ability to go between a tablet and basically the traditional desktop fairly quickly. I've actually, can't see it in here, but I've got a couple of tables with a bunch of computers on them. But I did buy a full touchscreen 23-inch monitor that I've got, and right now I'm running a big countdown clock, so I know when the commercials are coming, when I need to come back, all that kind of stuff. I've got Windows 10 also installed on my little note. I'm going to call it a netbook that I bought. And I think I recommended it over a year ago for Christmas, that I bought for $225, a touchscreen. You can still find these T100 Asus devices out here for about $200. They don't have a huge resolution, but you know, if you just need something a little to write an email on or do some other stuff. But I really like it. And there's some nice, neat apps. Kind of tough to find the good apps in the App Store, but I suspect that when Windows 10 becomes much more popular, it's going to be a lot more easier to see. Hopefully you can see that out there on the screen. But I've installed it on 3 machines. I've got it on this machine that I'm running here today on a different drive. I've got basically SSD drives in these little carriers. So all I have to do is turn off the machine, swap these drives out, and I can be running yet another operating system. So at night, I play with it on this machine too. But I've got additional drives ready to go. If anything would happen to my system here that I use for trading, I could swap out a drive and be up and running in about 2 minutes. I've got, I don't know, I've got probably 6 or 7 of these little guys running around. But makes it very easy to back up and also have a backed up file system ready to go in case anything happens. But I don't know what else is up there. Yeah, they're hot swappable. I just don't, you can't hot swap the operating system drive. It just doesn't work. It doesn't blow up anything, just doesn't work. I had a question from my engineer. But you know, you can hot swap. I can hot swap the other ones. But yeah, I think the little drives bays that I got, I think were like $30. And it came with 2 of those, and I bought 4 more of them. But I've got them on all my machines, so I can move these drives around and reformat them, do whatever I need. Anyway, we were talking about Las Vegas Sands when we left. Very interesting part out here. Just again, like a lot of these stocks that we see out here, you're just not getting a huge amount of bounce when these things should be bouncing. And that continues to make me think that there is some weakness out here in the market. I thought maybe we would just roll right over today. I didn't like the way that this market bounced through 2108. I thought maybe we'd kind of play around 2108 for a while. We'd get some energy. Maybe we would tick up 3, 4, 5 points, 3, 4, 5 pints a day. That we just ran through all this again with no volume made me think that we were extremely prime for some kind of slam down again like we had yesterday. The volume was light in the morning, and it's turned to vapor this afternoon. But we'll take a look. Miller Herman out here, MLHR. This company makes office furniture, if you're not familiar with them. Looked to me like maybe this thing could hang on out here to the lows, but doesn't look like it has. It's kind of pierced it today. Came back up a little bit higher out here, but not much in that one. What else do we have out here? TNK. This is interesting, and a lot of tanker news out here, and a lot of tanker earnings coming out across the next week. And these things are not up here with a lot of volume. TK Tankers, TNK is the symbol, going after the $7.05 high with 4.7 million shares from January 13th. You went above, basically, 25 cents above it. The next day you closed right back around and did a reversal. Not much volume out here, but again, a lot of news coming out for earnings in this sector. I think starting after tonight and 2 or 3 of them next week. So keep an eye on these stocks in this tanker sector. Towers and Watson, been kind of watching this one out here. It's one of these stocks that has broken out to higher highs, but really never got any kind of sign of strength out here. So I've been watching this one. Probably be a very good idea to see if this closes below 131.73. If it does with light volume, this is going to be yet another big breakout, false breakout, like a lot of these stocks have. What I would be looking at is this 110 gap that goes back to the November 5th of 2014. So kind of interesting that we're seeing all these gaps come back in play again. VEEV, which is a stock you probably don't hear a lot. This thing's been churning sideways for a while out here. It came down on monstrous volume again on, what is that, the 4th of March. And what was that volume? 19 million shares, almost 20 million shares. Come back up here last couple of days. 1 million shares yesterday. So a lot of these stocks, why they had a push yesterday or having pushes today, are coming right back up to the level of resistance. Some of these stocks that have done that in the past, like Lululemon, finally coming back down to its gap point. This one really looks like maybe you could have a nice 3-gap play on it, and it would need one more gap to the upside. But kind of tough to see out here. Like I said, a lot of these stocks tend to be extremely trendy, and I'm wondering if yoga pants aren't on the way out. They've certainly been able to drive this stock back up by a lot of financial engineering, firing people, a lot of other things, a new CEO. But I don't know if there's anything financially changed out here at all. But it's back in the gap. It's in there. And you've got, the light volume. So in this gap that we're looking at right now, 10.3 million shares the last few days, 3.7, 2.9, 2, and today. But on to the upside, 1.4 million shares. So, normally you should see a lot of people dying to get back into these. And that is just the overall largesse of this market that is so, I just seems so tired, doesn't it? I guess that's probably the best, exhausted, the way that this market is. You should be seeing, especially out here today, you should be seeing some signs of strength on this rally, and I'm not seeing a great deal of them. Maybe Tiffany's, that kind of stuff, but that's about it. Other stocks of interest out here, ACHC. Confirmed proposal to strengthen managed care for Medicaid and CHIP enrollees, and so it was up 7% today. When we actually look at this, it's just up to its previous high. And again, one of these stocks that goes up here has some decent volume, but they cannot seem to hold these highs. 74.09 was the April 13th high, 440,000 shares. We're into it today with 1.2 million shares. So at best, you get this retested. At worst, one more short squeeze, and then that's the end of it. So we continue to look at this. Frontier, FTR. FTR. These people are buying the FIO services down here in Florida. Ever since they've announced it, they've done nothing but go down. Frontier Communications. First little pop out here today, upgraded. And, doesn't take much to move a stock 5% when you're a $5 stock. I think basically you get down to $5 and people can't short you anymore. It's some of that. Anyway, you can still give me a call, 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. That's PATH@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can post a message in the den if you want me to look at something in particular. But I do digress. I'm going to go back and look at a few of the other stocks from last week. I want to see how these things are doing and how they came in. We talked about Fairchild. Actually, a little volume out here in Fairchild. I mean, a very good test out here from the April 16th, 2065. 5.3 million shares on that day. You went above it, you closed below it, you did it on 1/5 the volume. This thing kind of pulled back. Not a huge deal so far. Getting a little taste of a little reverse out here. And I think maybe that may be people talking up chips in general in the financial infotainment cable stations. HCA Holdings. This one started to break above the previous high. Depending on how generous you wanted to be, you needed either 6.4 million shares from the April 15th high, less generous March 4th, 12 million share high. But this thing did break out with 5.4 million shares, so basically 20% light on the 19th. It's just been going sideways out here. A little pullback in HCA, and we might see some big movement in a lot of these healthcare stocks as the Supreme Court gets ready to rule on whether or not a law is written the way it is for a reason, or if the courts decide that they have the right to change a law to get it to work. And that is the question, whether or not you can manipulate the text of the law at the Supreme Court level because that's what at least some people think the intention was. And unfortunately, there's so many people in that the testimony was that they implicitly made it that way for a reason, and when it didn't work out, now they're trying to come back the other way. At least that's the other side of that argument for the mentioned Orwellian named Affordable Care Act. Ingram Micro D. Now, this one's very interesting. Huge gap down. That happened back on the 27th of February. Went all the way back down to $22.54 on March 12th. It's done nothing but go back up here and try to fill this big gap. May 15th got to its high, 26.92, with 2 million shares compared to that huge gap down of 4.7 million shares. Today, coming back up with 557,000 shares. So while we were back up here, there's not a lot of signs of strength in any of these stocks that continue to hammer away up here at these highs. We talked about La Quinta Holdings as saying, I think it's got earnings coming up, but it's done nothing but go sideways. But you really were looking for 10 million shares from the March 25th high, $24.38, 10 million shares. Got into it with 2.4 million shares. Just kind of gone sideways like that. Again, these stocks break out to previous highs, kind of go sideways out here, and then eventually some kind of news, and you get the action of Mr. Kurz this morning. But they're doing a very good job of running these stocks sideways for a long time before they blow up in everybody's faces. The thing that worries me about this one is the relative newness of its IPO, and it's fairly untested. So you've got to keep a close eye on that. NCHL, another one of these stocks that broke above a previous high, didn't have the volume, closed right back underneath it, and we've done nothing but go sideways for 5 days now. The volume I'm looking at is the March 20th high, $54.78. 3.3 million shares tried to get into it, 1.3 million shares on April 10th. And so you break above it on the 15th, the 18th, and the highest volume day out here on the 19th, but you just had 1.6 million shares. So you didn't even get basically 50%. And maybe even the lightest volume day, that April 10th high, 1.3 million shares, just a little over it, right back into the trading range. And I kind of call this either prairie dogging or turtling. These things stick their heads out and they come right back in, like was it Ponatoxy Phil? I think that's how it is, Mr. What's the guy? Tarantuling? I don't think so. Doesn't fit it. Pinnacle Foods out here, PF. Very interesting to see how the food business is moving. Hormel, of course, trying to acquire, was it Apple? I think it's Apple. I'll find it here in a minute. Overnight. So a lot of basically consolidation in that food business continuing. Pinnacle Foods out here up a little bit, no volume. But what we've been watching, the same thing in this market, which is a lot of these stocks going to higher highs, not a lot of volume, pulling right back into trading range. This one's fighting it from the April 10th high. We'll talk about this more when we get back. Still have time to give me a call at 877-927-6648.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy. A set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And welcome back. Got Broadcom. If you missed it today, they basically confirmed that they're in high-level talks to be bought by Avago. Avago was up also. And I guess the idea is that Broadcom would find a better home there and a link directly into the Apple ecosystem and get a lot of volume out here. Huge move, of course, in this one on a very quiet day. So you have to kind of look at that. From the news articles, it looks like, you know, maybe there's a better than average chance this isn't a total joke. Interestingly enough, this has driven Avago up past its all-time high. A lot of short interest in this stock over the last probably few weeks, I suspect, because of the weakness in Apple. Their numbers have not been going up, but probably going down. And the thought that maybe they could consolidate some of this business from Broadcom into Avago is fairly interesting. But you've got to break out with volume today. You needed 2.3 or 2.7, depending on what you were looking at. For millions of shares, you had 5.6. So you're through it with a real sign of strength out here. Again, the problem comes in with Avago with a report that was out yesterday that shows that a lot of this high-end phone business is dramatically fading here in the next 2 quarters. Surveys that look at it also say that a lot of people that If you haven't bought an Apple iPhone 6 already, that it is becoming less and less. New users are also down. 2 years ago, we had 13% more users than the year before. Last year, 10%. This year, it looks like we're on track for about 8%. So we're getting to the point now where everybody that wants to and could get on the internet pretty much is. The growth is vastly shrinking. They're suspecting that will be under 5% next year. So it's not going to be like there's a lot of new people coming to the internet. It will be rather low end. And the people that are going to be coming to it are probably the most economically challenged in the world. So they're not going to be adding a lot of dollars for their clicks. But interesting to see this stock move up on a day like this. But I suspect that we had a lot of people short that because a lot of people have been looking at those numbers and pretty much figuring out that this stock will probably go down. And my guess is that you're probably going to have a little honeymoon out here. And maybe like a lot of these other stocks, they're just going to break out and pull right back into trading range. But that's what you want to be looking for over the next day or two. Other things I wanted to be looking at out here. See if there's anything else going back out here. You know, we're playing with 5,100 on the NASDAQ up here. But again, volume is rather light. We've been talking about that high in the housing market for a while, and it certainly looks like I think we've got some confirmation out here in Toll Brothers today. They came out with earnings. Their EPS estimates by 2, but missed on revenues and kind of guiding down at here. And of course, down with some decent volume. The next low out here is $35.03. I suspect we get into this in the next week or so. Below that, you get back down to $32.19. I don't see a lot out here that are going to change that. Along with their delivery guidance, just doesn't look good. Gross margins are lower. And it looks like at least we're probably looking at best a sideways market in housing for a while. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to, even if it's your house. And we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Hang on for Tom O'Brien.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.